As a contrast to that Boss Katana, which lasted about 2 years, and a repair would easily meet or exceed its value. In fact, they don't design it to be field serviced at all. They only do board level support, board level swapping under warranty, and could not get a replacement board. I bring you this 1983, 82 or 83 Fender Sidekick 10. Little 10 watt solid state. Sounds pretty darn good. This particular one just had a bad speaker and some dirty pots and input jack. So that's all cleaned up. I'll get a new speaker for it. If it did need service, everything is very easily done. There's not a lot to it. It doesn't overpromise like a lot of modern things. It only does a clean sound. If you need anything else, you add pedals. Doesn't have reverb, let alone built-in effects. But, 83 was what? 40 years ago? 39 years ago? Still working just fine. If I needed to change out the caps, I could. It's not a set about surface mount versus through hole. I can do either. But this is something which you can trace out even if you don't have a schematic, because it's simple and it does not involve any processing chips that are pre-programmed and all the stuff that you get into with a Katana. I'm sure you can pick these things up for dirt cheap. Will it replace the deluxe reverb or Princeton reverb? Nah. But it sounds pretty damn good for what it is. Just a very basic thing. And here's with the gain cranked and the master low. Granted, those are low output single coils, so it probably needs some humbuckers to push it by itself. But, inexpensive, small, lightweight. This and a handful of pedals, you can play all night long at very low volumes. Let's see what the lowest volume it does and sound that while still sounding pretty good. That's really whisper quiet. That's quieter than an acoustic guitar. Even like a nylon string, just played with fingers, not nails. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying this is great, but it is still in service 40 years later and should be in service a good long while. If I needed to change any parts on it, there aren't that many parts to change. It's easily done. This thing could be kept going for an awful long time. The Katana, put it this way. If you buy a Katana or the Champ XDs or whatever the Fender's current offering is, if you expect to get 2 or 3 years out of it, that's great. And if that is a good price consideration for you, you're basically paying $100 a year for an amp that will do an awful lot of stuff and do it pretty well and be lightweight. But it's not going to be a long-term thing. Does the Katana sound better than this? Yeah, actually it does, especially the larger versions with the bigger speakers. This sounds pretty damn good though, and it's still going. Well, I spoke to the owner, and I knew that at very least we need to replace this speaker. So I've got a MOD 8-inch 8-ohm coming. That'd be infinitely better than this old speaker with a bad patch. And he really likes this amp, and he really uses this amp quite a bit. And I said, well, honestly, the only thing that I hear that's wrong with it is it's got a little bit of an earlier breakup, a little bit of a raggediness compared to how it could sound. And I know it's going to be these old electrolytics. There's a total of 10 or 11 in the amp. I forget. I lost count. They're not any big deal. Oh, there's a hidden one back there, so 11 or 12. But there's not a lot of electrolytics in here. They're easily changed out due to the nature of the board. Probably $20 for all of them, 25 with shipping. No big deal. So he wants this thing to be pretty much made new. And I'll check all the solder joints that have had some heat over the years, like this transistor, but should be a fairly simple thing to do to rejuvenate it. Okay, all the parts that go back in this nice sandwich bag. I go through a lot of those. I go through more sandwich bags than those helpful guys on the street corners. Very easy board to work on. Need to verify the lead spacing. Looks like 7 millimeters on that big one. The others are all 3 and 2.5 millimeters on the caps. Should be no big deal. A couple of solder joints I'll retouch as I go. Probably take me longer to come up with a parts list than it'll be for me to do the actual change out when the time comes. And I'll take a look at some of the transistors, and if they are transistors that are still on the market, I'll probably change those out at the same time, just in case one of them is beginning to be less than optimal. And the op amp in here, good old JRC 4558. If it ain't broke, don't fix it.